I promised. Better late than never, though. That's what I say. Now, let me just give me a sec to flatten that shit. Make sure we don't have any of that purple nonsense. And before too much longer, we'll get the show on the road. But, yeah. Hope everyone's doing well. That is awfully unresponsive, though, isn't it? Let me just check something real quick. No, it is all functioning. I don't know why it's being this unresponsive, then. Ah, dearie me. You'll have to let me know what the stream's like, because it does look like it's stuttering a fair bit, to be brutally honest. But I hope everyone is doing well. Hello there. I is here. Yes, you are. Or yes, you is. But, yeah, hope well. Keep scores on the strokes. Yeah, probably. And I'll probably be doing that with the manifesto book tomorrow. But more about that, obviously, as and when. But my God, the left wing. All those meltdowns that they've been having right now. Absolutely astounding. Hell, one Rory Stewart. I'm off to a good start, aren't I? Stroke number one. Rory Stewart put money down on Kamala Harris and ended up, well, that money's gone. Piss in the wind. Just like that. What are my other socials? What I can do, I have a Twitter. I know that much. But I don't really use anything else other than that. I pretty much YouTube, a little bit of Twitter here and there. But Twitter rather, you'll find it in the description of most of my videos if I've updated the descriptions of them. So you'll be able to find me on those. 10 strokes on, no, hopefully not that many. Most I've ever had is 6 in one video. So you should be fine. Anyway, Rory Stewart pissed up his money up the wall. There was actually a streamer as well, though. I'm not sure if it was a streamer on Twitch or if it was a streamer on YouTube or whatever. Apparently, they ended up losing nearly £1 million or dollars or whatever betting on Kamala fake as Hollywood teeth Harris. So I bet they're feeling a bit like a tit right now. Then we get to, of course, Sadiq, totally not a terrorist Khan. Do you know what he said? If Donald Trump was elected, he was going to leave the country. But I think we all know, realistically speaking, that is going to be another broken promise from the failed Muslim mayor of London. And let me be absolutely clear. I'm not saying that because he's a Muslim. I'm saying it because he's a crap fucking mayor, bluntly speaking. He just doesn't understand what it means to make the complete worst decisions in his lifetime. Frankly, he should be packing his bags. He should basically be coming out right now and saying, okay, you know what, promise is a promise, here are my bags, someone give me a first class ticket and I'll fuck off out of here. You know, that's what he should have done, but of course we all know he's never going to do that. Tel Aviv supporters. Excuse me, I haven't really covered that. I don't really know much about that. So that may be something I have to dig into, quite frankly. Someone hand me a shovel. Anyway, that will be something maybe I'll cover later down the line. No promises, but what I do know is that obviously anything that is in support of the pro-Plasticine group and Hezbollah and Hamas, I am completely against. There's also been a threat against Trump, though, from the IRGC, I believe. So the Taliban leader has basically put the biggest fucking target on his back right now. Like, literally, just somebody get him a nuke. He's cooked at this point. And hello, it's all of you coming in here. I hope you're doing all right, Ted and Stunner. But we also have, of course, the so-called Be Kind group in the left-wing mob. How a lot of these Muppets are coming out onto social media, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. And a lot of these people, you'll recall, when Donald Trump had that first assassination attempt with the failed Secret Service, who basically let this shooter up onto a roof and basically take a shot at Trump. Now, I think I even said in the past, as I guess devil's advocate here, is that the shooter actually wasn't a shit shot. They were actually on point. They just weren't ready for the fact that Donald Trump turned his head. And I call that nothing short of divine intervention, basically. Wish the UK had Trump. Damn truth. But what I find disgusting about that left-wing baying mob is effectively they were allowed to go up onto social media and they were allowed to spout the worst kind of vitriol towards Trump, saying, oh, you had this opportunity to take out Trump and you fucking missed, for example. Or, how are you such a shit shot? If only you were a better shot and what have you. Or, better luck next time and what have you. But they'll say all this shit about Donald Trump. I have yet to see one arrest on those people because last time I checked, isn't it illegal, no matter whether it's the US or the UK, to incite violence against a political person? Or am I using too much of that common sense? The sense that actually ran away from me when I lost the fucking Wi-Fi password. Genius! But no, in all seriousness, why hasn't it... Stroke number 2. Why is it half of these fuckers haven't been arrested? Why are these people still on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, whatever? Now, let me be clear. If you go out and you say nonsense, that's one thing. But if you're going onto social media and you're inciting violence against the former, who is now actually the former president, I'm sorry, but your ass should be in jail. Just like that. But guess what? Guess what? No arrests. Oh, but I'm willing to bet dollars to fucking donuts. If we said this shit about Faker's Hollywood Teeth Harris, if she had assassination attempts on her, or if I said this shit about Keir the traitor Starmer, I'd have cops around my house. Just like that. They would be around here and they would end up wanting my head on a spike. And it looks like I've got my first bit of trash to remove. Bye-bye. Ah, silly snowflakes. Why is it they always end up having to come in here and just throw out personal insults? I mean, I've made it pretty clear in a lot of my videos, you're not going to affect me. All it does, it practically just bounces off. Back on point. The bottom line, as far as what I'm saying about Trump and all the left and the right is concerned, is I don't give a shit if you're left-wing or whether you're right-wing. Hello, Christine. I don't care if you're left or right-wing. The bottom line is it is illegal to incite violence or encourage others to commit violence. But it's always funny how it only seems to be people on the so-called right-wing that ends up getting persecuted like this. Whereas the people on the left, yeah, I don't need to worry. More two-tier policing. More injustice. More hypocrisy. But of course the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks. Because say it with me. It doesn't suit the narrative. Do you think Keir the traitor Starmer will have the decency to say, yep, lock up Ricky Cutthroat Jones and Mike Assaulting Amesbury for their violence towards people? I don't think so, personally. They may be found guilty anyway, or they may plead guilty, which at this point, they are basically dead to rights. We can't say alleged on this case because the evidence is clear as fucking crystal. Like, if it was, we have some sketchy images and we don't know what's going on, so we can't really put one and one together to make two, then you know what? Yeah, I'd be like, alleged. But the fact that we have it in black and white, footage showcasing these two wankers doing what they did. And it's been spread far and wide on social media. So there is no way that these two are getting away with this one. I wonder if they are going to face jail time. After all, Peter Lynch, God rest his soul, he ended up being served a custodial sentence within a week or so of being arrested for exercising his democratic right to freedom of speech. Show some hearts for the Southpaws. I couldn't agree more with that. Those three lovely girls, and I know my hearts are terrible. Fucking sue me, okay? Anyway, those poor girls who ended up dying from a Southport attacker. Rudakabana, the jihadist, who is basically not going to face trial until January, just like Cutthroats Jones. But if you say something that snowflakes get offended at, you'll be in prison. Just like that. Make it make sense. It disgusts me, quite frankly, that we still haven't seen any arrests on all of those people who are inciting the most vicious attacks, who are inciting absolute hatred and violence towards people. I'm no fan of Keir the Traitor Starmer. That's pretty obvious, just by calling him traitor alone. I'm no fan of Sadiq Totally Not a Terrorist Khan. Or, what's his face? Mike Amesbury. Or Ricky Cutthroats Jones. But you know what I don't do? I don't go inciting violence. I don't go and say, you should all go and cut him up or whatever. Because that goes against my principles. We must make sure that we stay on the right side of history, and we won't do that if we're endorsing violence on our political opponents, or, as you say, Lammy the loser, or in my case, David the Archbishop of Racism Lammy, and I almost had a stroke there, I must admit, but David speak of the devil, stroke number 3, David the Archbishop of Racism Lammy. God, unbelievable. I should never open my big mouth. I should just keep it shut and then I won't have a stroke, will I? Oh, man alive. But he is a sympathizer and a Nazi sympathizer. Last time I checked, I don't see him saying that he condoned what happened in those concentration camps. I don't see him going out and yelling, "White supremacy!" from the top of his White House. Last time I checked. What about you, Lammy? Weren't you the guy who called all Brexiteers morons or racists? I can't remember which one of the two, but I know you called us one or the other. I am a Brexiteer, and there are a lot of Brexiteers in my chat and a load of other people's chats as well. You want to call us morons? And yet you're the one fucking up our relationships with people overseas, and one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful man in the world. Oh, but it was so funny though, so satisfying watching this little shit weasel absolutely squirm and congratulate Donald Trump. Just like Keir the Traitor Starmer did. I cannot wait for these two Muppets to actually have to deal with Donald Trump face to face. Because you know what? It's going to be a fucking beatdown, let me tell you. It is going to be an absolute fucking beatdown. Trump's got the spoon ready, and he's ready to slap some asses. Pretty fucking hard. Believe me, they are not going to enjoy it. Trump doesn't forget. I sure as shit don't forget. And if he does forget, I'll fucking tell him, quite frankly. I want to see these two people. I don't want to see them come to any physical harm What I will say, though, I do want them to have I want them to have torn verbally a new asshole, the pair of them. I want to see these guys pucker up like a fucking snare drum, because they deserve absolutely nothing less. He plainly stated always gets even. Well, there we go. It's gonna happen. And I cannot wait. There is gonna be a whole fucking cinema just literally lined up. And we're all gonna be sitting here just eating popcorn, watching the fireworks and all that shit. We are gonna watch the absolute evisceration of Keir the Traitor Starmer and David the Archbishop of Racism Lammy. And it is going to be amazing when it happens. And I am never going to change what I call these people. I may have the odd moment where I put it in there, but generally speaking, I will always think of him as Keir the Traitor Starmer and David as the Archbishop of Racism. They go together hand in glove. And quite frankly, I'm going to enjoy it. I really am. I can't stress that enough. And here's the thing. I'm not going to change what I say, because unlike a lot of people, I'm not going to sugarcoat a motherfucking thing. I am not going to mince my words. I'm going to say it exactly how it is, and I will do my best not to bullshit you. Khan? Oh, don't worry. Khan will get his comeuppance. We'll see to that. I mean, the man literally said, as said before, that he was going to leave the country if Trump was elected. So I want to see Donald Trump walk into the mayor's office and say, "Hello, I'm your new president that you've got to work with. Fuck off out of my country." That'll be fun. Oh, I can't wait for that shit. Whew. We are going to enjoy this, as well as watching all those left-wing tears that are just absolutely flowing, including through Robert De Niro, if I recall somebody mentioning. Don't remember what he said off the top of my head, but I do know that there are a lot of snowflakes, including Carol Plastic Tits Vorderman, who was completely upset at the idea of Donald Trump being in power. Now, devil's advocate here, and please don't flame me alive, put down your pitchforks. Anyway, Donald Trump, the one thing I do have a little concern with is the women's rights thing. Because I don't agree that abortion should be banned, quite frankly. There are a number of scenarios that could be presented where it may be justifiable to have to terminate an unborn child, cold bitter truth. For example, what happens if somebody ends up getting violated by a rapist? What's going to happen then? Do they want to have a child that was made by someone who's going out committing these kinds of sexual demons? Stroke number 4, sexual deviancies against women. God. And then you've also got, what if the child is unequivocally endangering the mother's life? Like, that's the thing. There are a number of scenarios you could put forward as far as abortion is concerned. That's the one thing I probably will say against Trump. That's about it, though, generally speaking. For the simple fact that I do think women should have the right to choose whether they have the child. That's the way I look at it. I mean, we can't... Oh, so it's not like how they're saying, how it's going to be, oh, he wants to bet. Ah, see. So more fake news shit. There's probably going to be some fake news shit as well that I had fallen for in the past as far as Lucy Letby. I am letting that unfold, seeing how that turns out, because it turns out it may be that I believed the mainstream media as far as her potentially killing a whole bunch of babies. But we'll see. But here's the thing. Unlike a lot of left-wingers and a lot of the mainstream media, I've got the balls, whether up here or down there, or in my case both, to be able to admit when I'm wrong, to swallow my pride, and say, you know what? I fucked up. I got it wrong. I'm not afraid to do that. You won't ever see that with the mainstream media. You'll be lucky if they apologize for incorrectly putting their shoes on. That's the way I see it. And I always find it funny how they want to go out there and say, especially if they're Clueless Cooper, alongside Keir the traitor Starmer, who want to go out and say, we must do all we can to prevent misinformation. Yet who are the ones who are presenting all the misinformation? Oh, would that be the mainstream media by chance? How they use the term fact-checking to basically stop people from being able to have their opinion without it being suppressed, which is unequivocal fascism. Like, they want to look at Trump as a Nazi. I think Keir the traitor Starmer is doing a better job being a Nazi than Donald Trump ever could. That's the way I look at it. Easily be not guilty and a scapegoat. I have noticed a little something from that. So, I do remember Black Belt Barrister all too well. Very good person, very good at what they do. And probably someone we will end up having to go and revisit. See if Lucy Letby is really innocent, or if the mainstream media are really telling the truth. Though, to be fair, we've seen the mainstream media lie about the stroke number 5. Man alive. Lie about many things. So we'll see if they're lying about this as well. Fucking Christ. I'm going to set a new record. Stroke number 6. A new world record. Fucking hell, I need to breathe. Right. We'll get back to it now. For a record. Fuck off. Fuck off. But no, in all seriousness, the way I look at it is, if it really is true that Lucy Letby has been a scapegoat, as I said, I will put my hands up to him. Who's that behind me? There's no one behind me. This is both of me. What are you talking about? But yeah, we have to make sure that we have the truth in front of us. And if the mainstream media have lied, if the mainstream media are going out of their way to maliciously label Lucy Letby, much akin how they've done to Tommy Robinson, they are indubitably guilty under Section 2 of the 2006 Fraud Act, fraud by false representation, which means the media can be held to account to this. They could be fined millions, if not more, and they could get a jail sentence, just like that. They need to watch what they're doing now. They need to watch what kind of shit they're saying. Because the way I look at it, this could be the downfall of the media. How they've persecuted Tommy Robinson, how they've persecuted Peter Lynch, how, like, what do we do from there? If we find out they are lying about Lucy Letby, I hope Lucy Letby takes the police, the courts, the CPS, and the mainstream media all to court. She could easily bankrupt these fuckers. Easily. And then we might actually see some change. And it definitely needs it. Because I do want this country to have a peaceful resolution. Because otherwise, if we don't get this sorted in the next 3 or so months, I think the cold, bitter truth is it's going to get violent. That's the thing. I think if this doesn't get resolved peacefully, we're going to see ordinary people take to the streets, and then there really will be anarchy. And do I see some other trash I need to remove? I think I do. How many other messages you got? Looks like fuck all. So, bye-bye. But yeah, that's the way I look at it. I think the media are playing a very dangerous game. And while I accept hundreds of thousands or even millions to some extent is like a drop in a bucket for the 7 richest men who control the world and have the mainstream media payroll, basically. Rupert Murdoch, the Microsoft twins, to name a couple of them. I can't remember the others off the top of my head since it's a long time since I've actually looked into it. But yeah, I think we are getting very, very close to seeing the end of the mainstream media. And all these times where they've been harassing the public with those TV licensing letters and the Capita goons and threatening you that you could go to court if you pay for something you might not even fucking need. And Tossi brings up a very valid point. You can't be a supporter of Muslims and LGBTQ. Very, very valid point. Because Islam is intolerant. In fact, they consider it illegal. I think it's the same with an extra X on the end. But they despise gay people. They think it's illegal to have a homosexual relationship. And they reward these homosexuals with a free first-class ticket off the top of a building. Or with a nice array of large stones, usually the head, if you catch my drift. They give them the death penalty, in layman's terms. And we all know as well, if anybody has been paying attention to Islam, we also know that we, to them, are the dirty kafar. We are the non-believers, who basically our dirty hands cannot even touch their Quran. And that we are the infidels, the non-believers, and that we must be killed, that we must have our skin melted, that they must behead us wherever they find us. They have a holy, well, I say holy scripture, more like an unholy, basically, book that condones violence. But they have an unholy book that commands Islam to slay the kafar wherever they find them. They have a book that commands its own fucking people to go out and murder other people. Need I say more? Not one other book in the world that is legal would ever promote, incite, or encourage violence against other people. And when people in Palestine say, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, they mean it will be free of Jewish blood. They want to kill the Jews. Genocide. And yet we're supposed to sit here and believe that this is basically a peaceful group. I think Donald Trump can see who the real peaceful group are, and it's not Palestine. But these people in Palestine should all be arrested as well, just like the left-wing nutters who have been calling for violence against Donald Trump. In fact, I believe there was one, I can't remember her last name, she said to hit people who are considered Nazis, basically people who support Trump. She encouraged violence on Twitter. Why isn't she arrested? Oh, that's right. Rules for thee, but not for me. Two-tier policing, as usual. But I guarantee you, if I said we should kill or attack all Kamala Harris supporters, I'd be in jail. Just like that. I put it to you, Keir the Traitor Starmer. Are you going to find those left-wingers here in the UK who have incited violence against Trump? And I ask you, Donald Trump, Are you going to find the people who incited violence against you and bring them in? Because we need to take out the trash. We need to take out the trash and place it in the dustbin of history, where they rightfully belong. They have no right walking the streets while they are inciting violence. This so-called... We need them in jail for our own protection. That's the cold, bitter truth. Hello there, Rhiannon. Hope you're all right. But I think I've spoken enough about this. I'm just going to summarize basically what's gone on. So, obviously, Trump got elected a couple of days ago, and the left-wing meltdown has been absolutely fucking amazing. Emily Mathis in particular, that was something I didn't mention before I go further in the summary. Emily Mathis apparently ended up running off the set, swearing on Channel 4 News. I mean, yeah, couldn't make it up, could you? And you're probably talking about Mada Bassa, or whatever his name is. More like motherfucker, but I digress. But we saw meltdowns across the mainstream media. They were all sitting there like, oh, Kamala Harris, it's neck and neck. She's got a good chance of this. And then the mood went from to... Oh, shit. Sorry. But yeah, basically, the mood dropped like a bomb. You would almost think, if you walked into the mainstream media news outlets, that the fucking family dog had died. It was like a funeral in there. They couldn't believe it. They were in disbelief. They were all taking the copium at that point. Good stuff. Anyway, they were taking the copium because they couldn't believe that Trump was going to get into power. And here he is now. Trump in power, sticking it to all the traitors who tried to screw him, sticking it hopefully who have incited violence against this man, when all this man has done is exist. But the media have always been like, orange man bad, when they don't even have a cohesive argument. They try to put out hit piece after fucking hit piece saying, what's going to happen to the country now that Trump's in power? I'll tell you what's going to fucking happen. Shit's going to get sorted, and your shit is going to get cooked. 200 degrees in the oven, 15 minutes, ding. Close up, you little bastard. But yeah, I think I might have a few more watches of the Meltdown compilations, because it's so satisfying watching them mentally break down. Yeah, I have a few mental breakdowns as well, but that's usually when I'm playing XCOM and I'm getting fucked over on bad odds. But that's another thing. Yes, I have had 6 strokes. I don't want any more. I don't want to set a new fucking record, goddammit. Belfield, I'm not as much of a fan of anymore because I think he has screwed over some of his fans. But I do think, and I will say this, that Belfield's sentence is directly disproportional to what other people get. Like 5.5 years for civil stalking. Yet there are some people who are going out of their way, they've committed manslaughter, and yet they're somehow ending up getting less than that. That's what's sad. I mentioned the Online Safety Act, where they get sentenced. If you speak negatively against the government, they were planning to send you down for 18 years in prison, potentially. More than some murderers. You sit there and you've got your bunkmate sitting there and he's like, so, what are you in for, mate? I'm in because I ended up murdering a couple of people. I've got 14, 15 years in prison here that I have to serve minimum. What are you in for? I'm in for 18 years because I spoke negatively about Keir the traitor Starmer. Do you know how stupid that sounds? But that is what could potentially happen. This is why we need Donald Trump to sort Keir the traitor Starmer out good and proper. So, I talked about Keir the Traitor Starmer. I talked about David, the Archbishop of Racism, Lammy. I talked about James stroke number 7. There it is, new record. I talked about Ricky Cutthroat Jones. I couldn't even say the name right. And then we also talked about Sadiq, totally not a terrorist, Khan. A nonce is basically someone who commits acts of sexual deviancy towards children, put simply. But yeah, all these people, they're going to get their come up. Stroke number 8. Oh God, I'm going to lose people. I can't even remember what I just said now from that stroke. I'm dying here, chat. I'm really dying here. Oh man alive. But we're going to see some serious change in this country thanks to Donald Trump. He's going to take out the trash. He's going to place it in the dustbin in history, and we're going to go get our country back. I see we got another one who's not bringing anything constructive. Let's take out the trash. There we go. Because the bottom line is this country does need serious change. And I think UKIP's the only party that's going to do it, quite frankly. I don't think that Nigel the phony Farage is the right person. Hell, this is something I was thinking about saving for another video. But this is something you want to pay attention to. There's actually been a secret plot unveiled by Liz Truss. Liz Truss has actually said that there is a plan for Nigel Farage to become PM by merging Reform and the Tory party. Don't just take my words for it. I think this was even said on the Dan Wootton show, no less. So we could actually have a real plot by Nigel the phony Farage to actually just put the Tories 2.0 in there. And I welcome all the people that are coming in at this late point of the stream. Yeah, I did see the interview on there. That was where I saw it. But yeah, it's scary to think that Nigel's willing to go down this path. And the way that Richard, Tice, and Witless Widdicombe, they insulted us, calling us lot, and Anne Widdicombe said, well, Peter Lynch is a rioter because he held a placard up, which is absolutely not the definition of a rioter. I don't think those guys are cut out for this. I think it'll be more toffee-nosed tossers that basically want to have power for themselves. This is why we need UKIP. And I am very seriously considering writing that letter out to Tenconi. I'm willing to stand if needed. I'm not going to sit by the sidelines anymore because I can see we need change. And it's time for change. And we won't get reform with reform. We'll end up descending further down the shithole, which is where those traitors in the establishment want us. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure doing this as always. 8 strokes, new world fucking record. And let's hope that I don't have another instance like that again where I have 8 fucking strokes. Otherwise, the next move will be a tombstone that way, if you catch my drift. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see what Donald Trump does to the country. I wish you all a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. I'll thank you one last time for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye for now.